He was the pride of his family, until a single lie changed everything. They stole his future, shamed his name, and gave it to the very person who betrayed him.
Where is my money? I kept it in this drawer.
I did not take your money. Why would I do
But
that? You are the only one who was in the house.
But what they didn't realize was that they planted something far more dangerous than revenge. And what grows out of this will leave everybody speechless. Sit back, pay attention, and receive this message. Let us know what you think in the comments for more powerful stories. Deji, Deji, come out here, Moyo shouted from the compound, waving a crumpled piece of paper in her hand. Her voice carried throughout the small Yoruba village as neighbors peeked over fences and out of windows. Curiosity piqued. Deji emerged from the small bungalow, blinking against the harsh afternoon sun. He was a young man with dreams that ran deeper than the village well, but today he simply looked confused. Moyo, what is it? Why are you shouting like this? Moyo, his younger sister, tossed the paper toward him. Read it. Look what they are saying about us, about you. Deji caught the paper awkwardly, smoothing it out to read the scrawling handwriting. His eyes widened, and he felt the heat rise to his cheeks. It was a letter, one filled with lies about him, rumors that claimed he was squandering the family's money, gambling it away in secret. His hand shook as he read the fabricated details that painted him in the colors of a villain. This isn't true, Deji stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. I would never do such things. Moyo crossed her arms, her expression mixed with anger and disbelief. I know you, brother, but do they know? What will Baba say when he hears this? Deji's father, Al-Haji, came out of the shadow of the front door, his face a mask of stern resolve. Deji, my son, what is this I am hearing? Are these things within this letter about you true? No, Baba. They're lies, Deji protested, thrusting the paper into his father's hands. I don't know who wrote this, but they are trying to ruin us. Al-Haji read slowly, his expression hardening with each line. He looked up, his eyes full of disappointment. So many people are saying this, Deji. Why would they lie? Ah, this shame you have brought upon us, eh? The words cut Deji deeper than any blade. Baba, you have to believe me. I am not involved in gambling or any of these things. Al-Haji turned away, shame and anger evident in his rigid stance. I once spoke of how proud I was of you. And now look, my respect in this community is gone. Father and son stood in tense silence as the village continued to buzz with whispers and suspicion. Moyo stayed by Deji's side, her loyalty unwavering even if those around them doubted. But why would someone do this? Moyo asked quietly, her eyes filled with confusion and sadness. Who benefits from such lies? Someone who wants to see me fall, Deji replied, his voice filled with a resolve that hadn't been there mere moments before. I will find out who is behind this and why. Moyo put a gentle hand on his shoulder, trying to support him. We will find them, brother. But be careful. Whoever is behind this is no friend. Days passed with Deji dodging the judgmental stares of people he once called friends. By the time he gathered the courage to face his father again, his world had already begun to unravel. Returning to the house late one evening, he found Al-Haji sitting with some elders in the parlor, their expressions grim. Deji, sit down. Yes, Baba. Deji sat nervously. One of the elders, Baba Tunde, cleared his throat. Deji, you know that for years your father has been saving money for your university education. It's not much, but it is enough to give you a start. Deji nodded, his heart pounding. We think it's time the money is given to someone else, Baba Tunda continued. A responsible child who will not squander the fortune like you. Deji's mouth fell open, horror sprawling in his chest. But this isn't fair. I never wasted anything. Alhaji's voice was flat. Deji, you have brought shame on us. This is difficult, but necessary. 2 weeks later, Deji caught wind of more rumours. Moyo's bare feet slapped against the dirt roads as she ran to find him. Deji, you won't believe this one. They're saying it was Femi. He was seen talking to strangers who aren't from our village. Deji's fists clenched at his sides. Femi, his cousin and supposedly his friend, stood to gain everything from Deji's downfall. Femi again? Deji seethed. I will confront him. Be wise, Deji, Moyo cautioned. How can I be wise when I've lost everything? Under the yellowing light of the village square, Deji cornered Femi as the latter tried to slip away unnoticed. Femi, let's have a word. Femi turned, an easy smile plastered across his face. Deji, how can I help you? Deji stepped closer, fury etched into every muscle. Did you lie to everyone about me? I know you've been scheming, but why? Femi's smile slipped for just a moment. Deji, you're angry. People talk. What can we do? Maybe you actually should look at yourself before pointing fingers. You set me up, ruined my name. You of all people, my own blood. Femi shrugged with fake innocence. Sometimes family needs to make hard decisions. They think we both can't succeed, so I chose myself. The words hit Deji like a punch to the gut. You will regret this. I promise you. In the following days, Deji felt as though he moved through a living nightmare. Each effort to clear his name, every attempt, only tangled him further in webs of deceit spun by Femi and whispered by others, eager for a story. News reached him that the school fees were being transferred to Femi, sealed with Alhaji's reluctant blessing. The world, once filled with promise, shrank down to this single act of ultimate betrayal. Femi's face seemed to pop up where Deji least wanted him to be. His affable demeanor turned sickening in its blatant triumph. So I suppose I'll be going to university now, Femi mused smugly during an accidental meeting. Deji bristled but said nothing, only devising plans in his heart, deep in silent resolve. One night, weary and alone, Deji sat by the family home. He could hear the muted laughter of his family inside, laughter that had once included him. His heart ached with bitter loss, now fully the outsider who once was the son they cherished. He stared up at the stars, once symbols of dreams yet to be reached, now misaligned reminders of everything he'd lost. Moyo sat beside him quietly, her presence a balm amid his storm. Deji, I still have faith in you. I don't know what comes next, Moyo, even if I can ever see a future again. She wrapped an arm around him. We climb. And when you make it, you show them all you didn't need anything but your own strength. Deji nodded, determination resurfacing beneath exhaustion. Yes, they tried to bury me, Moyo, but they didn't know I was a seed. Slowly, Deji began to plot, not for immediate absolution, but for a justice he would craft with time, patience, and ingenuity. He felt the fire, one that wouldn't be extinguished by the undulations of whispered rumour or the odd stares of passers-by. This time it would be different. He would ensure it. Moyo supported him from the smallest of spaces, offering him reassurance through small gestures, helping him regain footing in this unforgiving world. And though whispers surrounded him, Deji's vision cleared. To reclaim his honour, He mustn't just prove Femi's betrayal, but outshine it, to achieve what none would dream him capable of achieving. Determined, Deji inched towards his new goals, alone in midnight hours, scratching plans and possibilities. In the dusty corners of the village, he spoke quietly with elders he trusted, seeking paths they could illuminate. At the same time, whisperings reached his ears, a chance for growth abroad. A cousin of Moyo's friend was seeking help overseas, a chance for Deji to restore what was broken. This would change him, change everything. A single point of transformation formed, a crossroads where destiny waited. Moyo's unwavering faith remained. Wherever you go, Deji, remember this village shrinks smaller with your leaving. He decided, counting unnoticed blessings like the flash of light on new leaves in morning sun. Another day saw Deji quietly packed, his hand steady despite life's turbulence. Moyo stood with him by the dusty road as he waited for the bus that would change everything. "Tell Baba goodbye for me," Deji said, his voice rough with unshed emotion. Moyo nodded. "I will. Write me as soon as you settle, brother." Stepping onto the bus, Deji felt uncertainty and promise flow together. A new river toward redemption. The air was filled not with goodbyes, but seeds of a future whispered softly between vulnerable heartbeats. As the distant hum of wheels on wandering roads carried him beyond the village's reach, Deji's focus sharpened into a single, ultimate truth. He would show them. He would show them all. Nothing was over, nothing ever lost. In loss, only seeds dwell, growing into unexpected futures. And so the bus crested a faraway hill, carrying Deji toward fate, with eyes set on redemption. A knowing glimmer carried in heartbeats measured over time. The reality of the bustling city teemed before him, bright, new potholes of painted promise overlaid with lingering doubt. Noise and lights embraced Deji in a less tender way than memories of home. But among all, Deji continued, footsteps steady toward a new expanse he would write himself. Questions lay restively, answers echoing not only in his heart's private corridors, but ahead, writing themselves in words unspoken still. Yet complete as though preordained. Within a fortnight, Deji received a call from afar. The news. A job. A possible convergence where determined fates might fulfill ambitions. The opportunity roused the heart, echoing future possibility, lightly bled with the sweat of desperate dreams left behind. Hope, a gathering force, would carry growth, flowering beyond expectation. Through all, Deji saw a greater vision drawn, and no matter how the future glowered above him, he would meet it without cowardice. As the sky darkened toward twilight yet unmade, Deji received an unsigned letter. Words scrawled hastily, words that tore an anguished gasp from his throat. "We made a mistake. Come home." No name inscribed, no badge of authentication. But Deji knew its source. Return to judgment and pain, an understood imperative, the letter insisted. Why now? Rivals seeding new chaos, or kin in desperate need? Mystery thickening, Deji held the letter aloft, a moment suspended while the seat beneath him remained still, unaware of the mountains yet unthought that soared beyond horizons of potential. And it was a moment, fleeting yet potent, with rising destiny, unknown yet unmistakable. The moon hung like a lantern in the night sky, witnessing Deji's return to the village as he stepped off a dusty bus. The air was thick with unspoken words, and the vibrations of memories both warm and bitter. His heart pulsed with a mix of dread and determination, fueled by the anonymous plea in the letter. Yet he sensed a deeper reason. the whisper of unfinished business, perhaps even redemption. Moyo mentioned nothing of such a letter, Deji murmured to himself, eyes scanning the shadowed pathway ahead. With resolve hardening his steps, he headed towards home. Deji returned, unannounced, greeted by his sister's wide eyes as she pulled him into a tight embrace. "Eh, you came home, brother." "I had to," Deji replied, holding back a tide of emotions. "Where is Baba?" "Inside. He's been asking about you a lot," Moyo whispered, her voice a mixture of excitement and worry. "He's changed. He regrets what happened." Deji nodded, taking a deep breath before heading into the house, where shadows of old pain lingered. Entering the dimly lit parlor, Deji found Al-Haji seated in silence, a man who appeared smaller, wearied by the weight of recent revelations. "Baba," Deji called, anchoring his voice in calmness despite the storm brewing within him. Al-Haji looked up, his eyes filled with a remorse that Deji had not expected. "Deji," he said, voice hoarse with swallowed pride, "I owe you an apology. I've been a foolish old man, blinded by fear, easily led astray." Silence stretched between them, thick as the night outside. Deji's heart trembled at the complicating layers of truth and forgiveness needed here. "Baba, I needed you to believe in me," Deji murmured, pain cracking through his words. Al-Haji rose slowly, each gesture deliberate, as if approaching sacred ground, and placed his hands on Deji's shoulders. "Can you forgive me?" Deji swallowed hard, the longing for revenge slowly ebbing as he confronted his father's sincerity. "I'm hurt, Baba, but we don't mend by holding on to what breaks us." Al-Haji nodded, moisture gathering in his eyes. "Let's rebuild, son. We were wrong about Femi. It was all lies." "Then we show them truth," Deji replied softly, a silent resolve taking seed. Days turned into a tapestry of reconciliation, strands of trust slowly reweaving between Deji and his family. Yet beneath this healing, the thorn of Femi's betrayal remained buried, constant in its reminder of unfinished reckoning. "Moyo," Deji spoke one afternoon as they strolled the familiar dusty lanes, "I need to confront Femi again, this time not in anger, but with truth." Moyo placed a hand on his arm. "Be careful, brother. God watches all. This must not be a thing undertaken as vengeance, but as a revelation." Her words lingered in the air like the distant call of doves, ushering in a reflection that nestled quietly within Deji. The old community centre loomed beyond the marketplace, where Femi often lingered now, oblivious to Deji's arrival. As Deji approached, his heart pounded, a mix of trepidation and hope for a resolution that could set them both free. "Femi," he called, as his cousin turned with a smirk that faded upon seeing the serene determination in Deji's eyes. "Back from the city, cousin? Come to challenge me more?" Femi taunted, unease flickering underneath his bravado. "No, Femi. I've come for truth," Deji replied, meeting his gaze with steady calmness. "You hurt me, tore apart my name. And for what?" Femi faltered, a struggle evident beneath defenses now thinned by underlying guilt. "I don't know. Jealousy. But I never meant for it to go this far." Deji's voice softened, layered with sincerity and regret. "Whatever the reason, Femi, it ends now. God holds us accountable not only to our past actions, but to who we choose to become." Femi stiffened at the mention of God, his facade slowly crumbling. "I was wrong, Deji. I'm sorry," he stammered, eyes downcast. As they stood in mutual silence, the weight of their shared history settling between them. Deji felt something within him shift, a shedding of bitterness, an opening toward more. Back home, Deji knelt in the quietude of his room, walls bearing witness to the whispered conversations Gundon said he now had with his own heart. He thought aloud, Jesu Christi, I seek guidance. I carry scars, but also hope, and I wish to understand how to forgive as you have forgiven. In that moment of tentative prayer, something new grew, a release not from a forgetting of wrongs, but from a desire for peace beyond mere revenge. Over the next days upon weeks, Deji and Femi sought what might be built from the ruins they'd once created. Working together, they uncovered the truths obscured by lies, making right what once broke them, the value of restored kinship emerging anew. Though reconciliation was a journey, each step together brought them nearer to truth, held in heaven's embrace. The storm of conflict finally gave way to a new dawn, where revenge whispered less sharply, and echoes of redemption sang with a humble tune, one led by faith. In the quiet of these moments, Moyo watched in silent pride. "Brother," she said softly one evening, "with all that has passed, you show we are more than our worst choices. God be with us in this." Deji nodded, hope blooming in his eyes. "We walk by faith, Chukwungoziagi. For everything God planned reaches petals, unfolding new blooms of mercy, unfurling with truth of grace given and lives renewed." In unexpected finality, betrayal did not have the last word, nor retribution its fierce mark. Deji reclaimed dreams beyond the village boundaries, the knowledge that only through Christ could he find his way back home shining brightly. Time swept past like rivers, weaving destinies untold, but Deji knew the power of sacred forgiveness, a seed renewed. With a grateful heart, he whispered ever gently upon a morning, faith-filled sky, "I once thought revenge could free me, but I found that it's Christ who truly does. Amen." The lesson learned, deeply earned, in every step of this journey toward the many forms of home, toward the never-ending hope most needed, the most simple song of all. Thank you so much for listening to this intriguing story. I hope it touched you or taught you something. For more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. And guys, if you'd like to see a part 2, or you have thoughts on what happened, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.